Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. I'm so excited you guys are here joining us tonight. We're still filing in, so I'm still going to be looking over here, admitting to my from the waiting room, but I'm excited you guys decided to join us. Hey to everyone, welcome, welcome. My name is Dr. Stacy Holweger, and I'm so excited to share with you the science and technology of our X39 stem cell activation patch, as well as some of the other patches this evening that we will, I'm sure, be covering. Before we start, though, I do want to let you know, just because most people do ask, what type of doctor are you? I am not a medical doctor. I actually have a PhD in integrative medicine, and I've got 2 classes to finish up my PhD in functional med. So I'll have that done here later on this month. So I focus on all different types of things holistic. Everything that's alternative, outside of the conventional, write yourself a prescription and go to CVS and get it filled. So all different modalities. I've always focused on nutrition. The last 20 years of being in holistic health, I focused in nutrition and detoxification, supplementation. And I've had a lot of tools in my toolbox. I still have a lot of tools in my toolbox, but I came across this tool about 1.5 years ago. Not being new to me, of course, with stem cell activation, but I came across this technology 1.5 years ago and decided to start using this not only on myself, my family, but to share this with other people. And so just to kind of give you a little bit of background real quick, I have spent 20 years researching stem cells, different types of stem cell therapy. I banked both of my kids' cord blood, and I ended up spending just over 10 years doing different types of stem cell therapy with my daughter in and out of the country. We spent over $100,000 out of pocket just in stem cell techniques and therapies and treatments alone. Not to mention everything else we did, anything I could get my hands on, right, to help her have a better quality of life. And so I've always wanted stem cells, always. I've always wanted stem cell injections. My husband was talking about it earlier to his mom on the phone, and, to somebody else, talking about they, going to Mexico, and these people look so young, and, they just, they look good, they sound good. And, there are people that had issues they were resolving, and, they're having a better quality of life, but it was $25,000 a treatment. And so we thought, gosh, we really want that for longevity and prevention and vitality, but we're not going to spend that kind of money. We need to use that for our daughter if we have any extra at all. So when this came around last year, immediately, because my friend April introduced this to me, I was interested in, of course, anything to help my daughter, right? And I knew April, trusted her, liked her, probably like somebody that invited you here tonight. You know them, you like them, you trust them, and you thought, I'll come and check this out. And so April said this helped her tremendously with her rheumatoid arthritis. If you have not heard her testimonial, go to my personal Facebook page. I interviewed her, I think that was Sunday evening. Yeah, Sunday evening, out by the pool. We were together and we had a party in Costa Rica. And so she shared her personal experience with these patches. And so when she shared with me the science and technology, okay, which I'm going to share with you tonight, done. I was in 100%. One video, I'm in, I'm buying it right now. And I'm going to tell everybody about it after Laura and I went to see David Schmidt, the inventor of this technology, himself personally, just a few days later here in Sarasota, Florida. We loved everything we heard from David, with Laura curing herself of stage 3 breast cancer 4 years ago using IV vitamin nutrition, supplementation, detoxification. This made sense to her with carnosine and glutathione and, reducing inflammation, and those stem cells are the holy grail of healing. And so it really made a lot of sense. And basically, you guys, we decided to lock arms and start telling as many people as possible about this technology because it's affordable. It's rooted in science, backed in research, clinical studies with people, but yet it's the price of a cup of coffee a day. And so we weren't going to spend $25,000 for a treatment, or even $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $10,000. I had somebody this weekend say she was, going to Mexico last year to get an $8,000 treatment. I don't know. I guess they have different treatments over in Mexico. Who knows? But anyway, I think that the information I'm going to share with you tonight is going to give you guys a fantastic foundation of what this technology does, but also be able to open it up and answer questions for what you specifically want to know and need to know. So I'm going to give the science and tech. I'm going to give the frequently asked questions, but I do want to share our disclaimer. So I am not your doctor, obviously, right? And you are going to need to consult with your medical doctor or your practitioner if you have any questions about your specific health issues. So this information tonight is not intended to treat, to cure, or to diagnose anything that's going on with you. I'm just sharing information with you. You can do whatever you want with it, of course. Do you have to go see your doctor? No, you're in charge of your health. And you'll see from the information that I have tonight, sharing with you that there's nothing to worry about as far as interactions or contraindications, things like that, but you have to make your own decisions. But also, this is, if you're pregnant, nursing, that kind of thing, check with your doctor, okay? And finally, I am not going to be talking about specific diseases or syndromes or disorders. So if you have had, a stroke, or if you have diabetes, or if you have, clogged arteries or things like that, I'm not going to address those specific diseases, because then we would claim to cure or treat them. I am going to talk about the different systems in your body, like your cardiovascular system, or I could talk about, having high blood pressure. I can talk to you about that, or having, high blood sugar, or I can talk to you about the brain and how the brain can be benefited from this technology. So just so you keep that in mind, when you go to ask me questions a little bit later, don't put them in there now, because it'll get too mixed up with everybody saying hi. So keep that in mind. If you typed a question, I don't see it. But when you do ask questions, please don't ask about specific things like, does this help for ADD or ADHD? I'm going to talk about body parts, systems, and organs in the body. Okay. And so you'll get your answers for sure from that. I promise. And of course, you'll always get back with the person that invited you, and they'll help you with any other further questions. They're all connected to me. That's why we're here, right? So let's look at what this technology is. This is what it looks like. A little round Band-Aid, sticky on one side. Okay. This is a non-transdermal patch, non-transdermal. I know you're familiar with transdermal patches, pain patch, nicotine patch, birth control, estrogen. You're familiar with all that stuff. You put it on your body, a chemical or a substance goes in, transfers into, that's the transdermal part, and is going to create some type of reaction, whether it's to eliminate the pain or to increase your, hormones, whatever it may be. So this is not working that way at all. So you're going to have to form a new brain cell with me tonight. Okay. So this is a wearable light technology. The technical term is photobiomodulation, or you could even say phototherapy. It works with our body's light or heat that we emit. Put your hand on your chest. You better be 98.6. That heat is real. I sat next to Brent at my son's basketball game earlier, and I'm like, God, you're hot. I could just sit there next to him. I could feel the heat coming off of him. I'm scooting down over. It was the same thing. We were on a flight yesterday, and one of the flights, I was like, oh, we're waiting there at the terminal. I'm like, God, you're warm. Why are you so hot? I mean, my God, it's 85 and hot and humid and sunny in Costa Rica, but today, same thing still. But anyways, you can feel that heat. Now, how do we know that our body is emitting this heat or this light? You go outside right now, it's dark. You can't see the neighbor. You can't see the animals outside, the horses or the dogs or the coyotes, unless you're looking through night vision goggles. And then you can see the outline of the body in colors, red, blue, yellow, green. Okay. Oh my God. I haven't even got a chance to share with you guys. I have thermal imaging of another SPD that I met this weekend. We met in Denmark last month, actually, but we hung out this weekend quite a bit. She has thermal imaging of her entire back from using just the Eon in like a progression of a couple days. Oh my gosh, you guys are going to be mind blown. But anyway, so you can see the person because of their heat, right? So that's what we're working with. This technology is working with your body's light or heat. So when we apply this patch to the body, I'm going to stick it right here for right now so you guys can see it. We're going to put it on in the morning. We're going to put it on in CV7 location, which is the back of the neck, or you can put it on your belly button, below your belly button. And honestly, you guys, you can stick it on your belly button. Any place works. It does not matter. This is working systemically. And that means that I could walk around with this on the center of my forehead. I could put it on my hand, and it's going to do what I'm going to share with you that it's going to do. But the thing is, you want to put it on in the morning. You want to leave it on 12 hours, and then you take it off and you throw it away. Now, I had somebody ask me earlier, what if I have sensitive skin or I have adhesive issues? So this is a 3M hypoallergenic patch. There's no latex or anything like that. Literally through all the clinical studies that have been done, thousands of people, about 1 in 10,000 has a little bit of a reaction. I know my daughter used to get a red ring around her patch, and I would take it off, and by the next morning that red ring was gone. It literally did that for 3 months. And then it just disappeared. And like her body just, needed to detox every single day, whatever that was. And then it was just gone. But if you do, you can always stick it on the inside of your clothing, or you can stick it in your pocket. It's still working. You can leave the back on it and it's still working just by holding it like this. How is that happening? This is what I'm getting ready to share with you. So get your brain cells ready. You ready? Okay. So our body's light. You put the patch on, our body reflects back a specific signal, a specific wavelength of light from this patch. Embedded in that white part is what our inventor, David Schmidt, invented. It's a crystal lattice structure, okay? And so that structure is made up of an organic components of amino acids and sugars and oxygen and water. They form what's called chiral stereoisomers. So not like amino acids that you drink or sugars in your pantry, not like that. We're talking science lab, putting solutions together and forming specific stereoisomers. So when you put this on, your body's light reflects back a signal, a specific wavelength of light from the patch. So nothing is coming into the body. It's light, just like if you go outside, right? Light is all that is coming into your body. It's your body's light. It's reflecting back that signal. You guys have seen red light therapy, right? The pads you put on, or if you go get a facial and they have the red lights that they want to put over to increase your collagen and elastin, right, for the skin, or sometimes they have pain patches, like therapy patches that they put on. Those lights, again, that's an outside light source. We're the light. Put it on, leave it on 12 hours. During that 12 hours, our body's light is communicating with the patch, reflecting back that specific wavelength of light. What is that doing? It is activating your own stem cells. It's elevating your own stem cells. It's mobilizing your stem cells. Your stem cells, your body. So no stem cells are going into your body. The stuff I did with my daughter was injections. We did hyperbaric oxygen chamber therapy, compressed, right? Pumping 100% oxygen into her, this hood over her head. This is not putting anything into the body. This is asking the body to do what it did when it was younger. Do you know you were born with an abundance of stem cells? That's why kids don't have gray hair, right? 10-year-olds don't have back pain. 15-year-olds don't have heart disease. Kids, they just don't have those things, right? They fall off their bike and they take off running. They don't even miss a beat. They sleep like babies. They have boundless amounts of energy because they're kids and they have an abundance of stem cells that are always working to repair their body. But guess what? As we age, our body has less and less stem cells that are active and moving in the body to repair and regenerate. It's part of life. It's part of aging, right? By the time in your 30s, there's like half of those stem cells actually doing anything. You ever wonder why you go in a room and you're like, why did I go in that room? Or you get up in the morning, you're like, oh my God, why am I hurting? Or you're not recovering as fast from exercise, or maybe your metabolism's changed, right? Or your skin, you start to see wrinkles and things like that. And that's because of your stem cells just not doing what they did when you were a kid. Well, guess what? How many of you guys on here are in your 60s or above? If you're in your 60s, you have less than 10% stem cells active in your body. If you're above that, you don't have any. They're just not there. They're dormant, but they're doing nothing. And plus they're old, right? They're worn out. They've been spending a lifetime trying to keep you moving and functioning. But guess what? This technology, you put this patch on, it not only signals your body to activate, elevate, mobilize its own stem cells, it actually resets a third of your genes back to their young, youthful state. A third of your genes immediately back to their young, youthful state. What does that mean for you? Reverse aging, repair, regeneration, restoration, rejuvenation. It literally means that wearing this patch day after day, week after week, month after month, even like some of us year after year, right? It means that you are going to turn back the clock. Your body, your own stem cells are going to go to work to repair and regenerate anything that's not in balance. Whether it's a kidney or a spleen or a liver, whether it's your endocrine system, your cardiovascular system, your brain, your skin. I mean, how many people have had scars like disappear after 20, 30 years? Because your skin is regenerating. It's your largest organ, actually. I hope you guys know that. But this works to help anything and everything under the sun. And we all use this same patch every single day. Now, you can use this patch every day. Like I said before, no contraindications to any medications, supplements, therapies, no side effects, literally nothing but benefits. This can only help you improve your quality of life. and very affordable, simple, easy, effective to use, right? Price of a cup of coffee a day. And again, all backed by clinical studies. David Schmidt is the inventor of the tech. He is the owner of this company, and he has spent 20 years inventing these different patches that I'm going to talk to you about some of them tonight. But it took him 10 years in the lab to figure out how to signal the body's own stem cell production. That is no small feat. Trust me, we have a 20-year patent on this. This is nowhere else on the planet, in the universe, do we have anything like this. And so I'm not saying that to try to hype you up and sell you something. I'm telling you this because we have the science. We have the proof that this actually works. You can go to a website, Laura Lee, I'll type it in the chat. It's startx39now.com, and you can see all the clinical studies. Every single one of them are there. You can see all the patents. They are all there as well too. So all in one spot. Don't try to go to PubMed and search here, or Stanford University and find it there, Oxford, Harvard, all over the world. David has had studies done with people, real people, independent labs and researchers. So don't think we bought them all either. So David has been an inventor his entire life. He'll be 60 next year. And he was working with the Navy SEALs a little over 20 years ago. He was working with a company contracted by the U.S. Department of Defense. And he was inventing things to help the SEALs on their many submissions to be able to improve oxygenation. And they asked him to sit in on a committee to learn about maybe, if he could contribute to helping the SEALs to come off the caffeine, amphetamines, and uppers, things like that, because they were really having a poor quality of life. They had to be out on days, weeks on end on mission, and they just weren't doing well, honestly. And so he said, absolutely, I'll see what I can contribute. And he was given or downloaded the information by the divine to create what's called the Energy Enhancer patch. This patch was created 20 years ago for the Navy SEALs. And you can go to my YouTube channel and you can see the interview of him talking about, actually a Navy SEAL interviewed him, and he was talking about working for the Navy SEALs, the Black Ops, and what he was doing with them with this technology. So he invented this 20 years ago. So again, this is not new. Wearable light technology is not new. Why do we not know about it? I had somebody ask me that tonight. Well, it's been in Japan. It's literally been in Japan for 20 years. The Japanese market took this and the other patches that David has invented over the last 20 years and ran with it. The Americans are just a little late to the game. We've been open here in the United States. The company's in San Diego, the lab and distribution and the corporate offices in Utah will actually be there on Saturday. So it's not anything new to the United States. So don't worry about that. We're just a little later to the game as far as sharing, like the Japanese have. So that's why you're probably just hearing about it, because it's word of mouth. This has been something that David decided, I can't put this on a shelf at CVS or GNC and hope somebody figures out what energy enhancer is and puts it on and has a result. People talk to people. We share with people. Just like when I found out about this, right? April shared with me. And obviously I shared with Laura, and Laura shared with Leah, right? That's what we do. We talk to people we care about, that we love, that we know, or maybe we meet new people, right? Like the people in the airplane that I talked to over the last several days about this technology. And so it doesn't really matter. But basically, you know that this started 20 years ago. And David has invented a dozen patches over the last 20 years, very specific patches that do very specific things. They all work individually. For example, glutathione, you may know of this patch from Suzanne Summers. We all know who Suzanne Summers is from Three's Company, right? If not, oh my God, go watch those shows. They were hilarious when I was a kid. But she has written a lot of books, obviously bestsellers, but 4 of them, she actually has this glutathione patch and David in there talking about how this was a massive part of her personal cancer cure, recovery, healing journey. Her words, okay, not mine. But you can go find her on YouTube. She talks about this glutathione with LifeWave. She and David have become good friends over the years. She talks about that. He talks about it as well too. So this is not a new patch. This has been around for a really long time. This increases your own glutathione level by signaling a peptide in your liver. Fantastic. Instead of putting an exogenous source of glutathione in, it only lasts about 7 minutes. It only increases about 23%. This right here is signaling your own body to do what God created it to do. It's going to increase that by 300 to 400% and sustain it for a 24-hour period. I don't know. Do you want glutathione, the master antioxidant, master immune booster, and detoxer in your body for 7 minutes or 24 hours? I'm picking 24 hours. So that's kind of where we are with the tech, what it does. I will discuss some of the other patches. Of course, you're going to ask me some questions, but before I do have to mention the Eon patch. because this is what we call the dynamic duo. So we always start with X39. This is our flagship patch. This is the workhorse. There's nothing out there that's going to signal your body to reset its own genes, right? Let alone to, activate and mobilize its own stem cells with literally light. It's fantastic. But when you have this patch with it, why we call it the dynamic duo is because Eon reduces inflammation. And inflammation is the root cause of disease in the physical body. We know that. And so I'm sure if you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you need your blood work, and they're like, your inflammatory markers are through the roof. And so they want to give you pills, right, to reduce your inflammation, or maybe tell you to change your diet. That would be fantastic. But what this patch does is it reduces the inflammation in your body, many inflammatory markers, the cytokines, the fibrinogen, the C-reactive proteins, things like that. But when you use these together, what happens is your body, when we know, say, for example, we did a stem cell injection, your body has inflammation. And so when you say, for example, you did an injection, your stem cells that were injected would go to that, let's say your shoulder, in that area that's inflamed, and the inflammation would consume a good portion of those stem cells. And so we want to address that inflammation in the body. It helps with pain reduction as well, too. Helps put your body in that calm, rest, parasympathetic state while we're increasing our stem cell production. You just set yourself up to have more rapid repair and regeneration process when you address the inflammation at the same time as you're increasing your own stem cell production. So this is what we always start with no matter what. So today, you guys are going to ask me some questions. I'm going to answer your questions about specific things, of course, but I'm always going to tell you that this is your starting point, because you want to address these two things no matter what, because this is going to get to the root of your issues. Okay. If you just use the X39, you're going to get to the root. It's just going to take you longer. That's just the science, right? David says these are the two patches that you want to start with together no matter what, because we have to address that inflammation in the body. Okay. And so we know when we see people's before and after pictures and everyone's looking so much younger, right? Like Laura's literally 60 years old and looks 40 because she's 40 on the inside, that we know that aging, right, is an inside job. When you look at Gloria's pictures from a year, you look at Leah's pictures from the last, Alicia's picture, Gary, you look at their before and after pictures and you're like, oh my God, who are these people? Well, it's because they've addressed the inflammation. Inflammation makes you look old. It makes you wrinkled. It makes your skin dehydrated, right? Not to mention that your stem cells are right there, gone. They're doing the same thing. They're not even active, right? So we want to be able to do these two together no matter what. So I am going to answer your questions. And remember, no specific diseases, okay? But Laura, they do, Jenna, we don't have time tonight to talk about my daughter. I'm sorry, we can't get into all that. There's a long story. You can go to my personal Facebook page. I did a video on it back in August. But Laura, do you care to unmute? She wants you to share what patches you used.
Okay, yes. All right. So what I use now, because of my healing back almost 5 years ago, are directly relatable to that time in my life and much more. So what I use now is X39 stem cell activation patch, Eon, which reduces the inflammation systemically, like you'll hear Dr. Stacy talk about, glutathione. Glutathione is something that they pumped in my body at massive amounts. And so when I heard about this patch being able to give me availability of 300%, I'm sure Dr. Stacy remembers me ribbing her in that room going, how do I get that on my body? So glutathione is a must for me every day. Carnosine, energy enhancer, and Alavita. So those are my staples. I do wear other patches, but they're not for that purpose. The X39 for me and the Alavita have many purposes, but for me, it's because both of those patches are shown to inhibit fast-growing cancer cells. So even though the Alavita is our beauty patch, I use it for the reason of inhibiting fast-growing cancer cells, but I get all the beauty benefits of it. And you will too. So those are my specific ones for that area that I use.
Thank you, Laura.
You're welcome.
To piggyback on that, so Elevate is a nighttime patch only. I use this every evening as well too. I use it because it lengthens telomeres and it also reduces oxidative and inflammatory stress in the body. And so that's why I use this one. Obviously, skin is fantastic. But here's what I want you to know. We all started with this, right? And we immediately added this. Laura, with her background, immediately started these two as well too, right? And so you can wear multiple patches. She chose to add this one in as well, turning over your lymphatic system, burning that extra 300 to 600 calories a day, giving you real energy and stamina endurance. Like if it's good enough for the SEALs, it's good enough for me. Most people do find tons of energy just with X39 alone, but some of us are kind of crazy junkies. We like to biohack our bodies, right? And if you read my post today about mitochondria, this is really important for your cells, energy, the ATP in your cells. And so these are two huge antioxidants. Your body makes them, but they decline as you age. So increasing, again, your body's own glutathione carnosine level by signaling peptides are what these two do. These are your starting point, right? Can you use all of them at once? Yes. Do you have to? No. Absolutely not. You do not. We want you to do what's best for you and what you feel comfortable in doing. If you just want to start with this, you can start with this and you can experiment, right? I have a new customer in Miami and we were texting back and forth today. She goes, I'm just starting with this. And I'm like, after 7 days, I want you to add this in. I know there's inflammation in your body, so I want you to get started on that. And then she's going to start on our SP6 after that to help with that endocrine system and hormones and things. And so, start with what works best for you and know that you can use 2, 3, 4 patches at one time. You can stick them all straight down below your belly button. You can stick them all on the back of your neck. I remember it was a couple weeks ago, I went back here to pull off my X39 and I was like, oh, all 4 of them just came right off together. I had put them so close together, they were stacked on top of each other. So thank you, Laura, for sharing that. As far as background, I already talked about that at the beginning, so I'm not going to go over that again. But can any of the patches increase vitamin B? My vitamin B levels in my labs were high, and I was advised to decrease intake of vitamin B. Have a very low dose, so it's weird that it was so high. So there's nothing in any of our patches, vitamins, minerals, supplements, nutrients, or anything. So it's not going to increase your own vitamin B level, your own vitamin D level. Those are sources of things that you would get from foods or supplements. So I would maybe take a look and see what you're consuming food or nutritional supplement wise. But there's not any patch that's going to increase your vitamin B. Actually, one of the things that David talks about is making sure that you're using a D and a C, a B, an NAC, something like that, the electrolytes, the magnesium and things like that. So he does recommend that for, just general wellness and health, but definitely not the patches to increase that. Somebody has a question about a leak. What? Oh, the patches got wet. Are they still okay to use? I was like, what? A leak under the sink? Yeah. Oh my gosh. So again, the patches were created for the Navy SEALs. They swim in the water. And so after the Navy SEALs, it actually went to the USA Olympic swim team and the Stanford swim team. So David's good friends with the coach at the Stanford University, and then of course got connected with the swim team at the USA Olympics. So Michael Phelps, they're all still wearing the patches. Even last year, remember that, Laura, at the hopeful, the USA Olympic, they've got their energy enhancers on. Totally fine if they got wet, no problem. Do not leave them in your car in a hot, sunny day for 12 hours or more, or they will not be good. When I put on the Eon patch on the area where I have pain, the pain becomes intense for a couple of days and then disappears. So is it normal? Here's what's interesting. No one human is the same. So when Laura had pain on her shoulder, we put the patch on in 20 minutes, it was completely gone and it had been hurt for days, right? An old torn rotator cuff injury. And so if you put it on that area and it feels like it's a little more painful, then just don't put it on that area. It's not normal for it to do that. It would actually be the opposite. But sometimes in our body, when things start to repair and the energy gets moving, then you do start to feel things. A lot of people will tell me, oh my gosh, I'm kind of tingly feeling, or I can kind of feel tingling sensation in my feet, or I feel warmth in my body. I didn't feel any of that. It took me 3 weeks before I felt anything, but we're all different. So I don't want to say it is normal to have the pain for a couple of days and disappear, but it may be for you. That may be for you. But put it in a different spot if you don't want to put it on that spot, right? How about hearing loss? Fantastic. Yeah, so using the X39 Eon, and actually I remember David, do you remember this, Laura, last year saying the glutathione? Remember Angus asking that question? Had it in my notes, I can see it in my notes right now. The glutathione is really important for improving your hearing loss. We can definitely, he said that. Brand new to the patches, my husband's found conflicted information about number of IceWave patches that he needs to use for pain. 10 patches on different areas of his body or 2 on specific areas. Okay. Ooh, all righty. Well, we're going to address that real quick. So never do you need 10 sets of IceWave, okay? So you're going to put on the X39 and you're going to put on the Eon because we have to work with the inflammation in the body and increasing that stem cell production. Just the increase of the GHKCU, that copper peptide that's increased, is going to help with pain as well too. So I need to know where the pain is. Let's say, for example, the pain is on the knee, okay? So you have a white patch and you have a tan patch. The IceWave pack, this is our pain relief patch. This is not going to get to the root of your problem. This is not going to fix your problem. This is just going to give you some pain relief like a Tylenol, except it's not toxic to your liver. If you heard me interview Gary today, Gary talked about using the X39, the Eon, and the IceWave, and poof, his pain was gone in 3 hours. Now, his sister, it took about 3 weeks for it to completely go away, and never has come back since. But for him, it took about 3 hours. And so this is how it works. If your pain is on your knee, let's say your right knee, then you're going to put the white patch on your right knee and the tan patch on your left knee. Okay, now there are clockwise methods out there, and you can YouTube David if you want to watch all that. I'm not going to get into that. But if you have 10 different spots on your body where there's pain, we're not going to stick 10 different IceWaves on your body. Okay, find the area that hurts the most. And again, like I said, use your X39, use your Eon, and put your IceWave on that location. So for example, low back. A lot of people have low back pain. Put your X39, your Eon on your low back. Stick your white IceWave on the right side of your back. Remember, you have a spine. So it's right side of the spine, and then put your tan one on the left side of the spine. And leave it there for 12 hours, okay? Make sure you're staying really hydrated, at least half your body weight in ounces in water, at least every day. Most people are dehydrated. Okay, use a little pink Himalayan sea salt, or use an electrolyte blend to get yourself some good electrolytes so that you're making sure your cells are staying hydrated. We know we dehydrate as we age. It's really important for the conductivity of your cells with the light that you have water. I mean, we're like 75% water anyways. You need water. Everybody needs water every single day, at least half your body weight in ounces. But it's really important that you do that as well too. So pick a spot, any spot, and put your patch there. If you find that your whole body hurts, every single thing in your body hurts for some odd reason, then what you can also look at is our Nirvana system. This is a patch and a supplement. Using them together, and the supplements over there in the box and the credenza, but using them together, they are more powerful than morphine, about 20 to 30 times more powerful. But it does take about 1 to 2 weeks in order for the full body pain elimination. This increases your beta endorphins. When you use them together, they have a sustained effect of elevating that beta endorphin level and keeping it that way. But again, clinical studies are showing 1 to 2 weeks before you will have that pain elimination. So X39 Eon, IceWave on the spots, but do not use more than, you don't need more than 1 IceWave. Worst case scenario, 2. Put at the bottoms of your feet, you know, the pads of your feet. Put a white one on the right side and a tan one on the left. Help open up the energy channels in your entire body, but no, absolutely not. You do not use 10 sets. AccuLife for horses, that's easy. It's exactly the same as IceWave. Nothing is different, except because it's used for horses, it has to be labeled with a different name for registration purposes, but it's identical. So you can use X39 and Eon with your horse, which would be fantastic. You can also use glutathione, which is fantastic for the joints, because I can't speak directly to arthritis. That's a disease, degenerative disease, but using glutathione helps amazing to coat the joints. And then you can use the AccuLife on those specific locations where the pain is for the horse. You can do that, absolutely. And you can go to my YouTube channel, and there's some horse videos on there. You can go to LifeWave Health and just type in horse and LifeWave, and you'll find tons of videos. As far as weight loss, so we are not a weight loss company, right? But you can use specific patches to address the systems in the body that tend to happen to impact weight. So we would always use X39 and Eon. We have to reduce the inflammation, right? But we do have what we call our tummy reduction protocol, and that works fantastically when people find for weight loss. You're going to add the SP6. SP6 is actually promoted as a metabolism booster and an appetite suppressant because it works with the endocrine system. This works for thyroid and adrenals and pituitary and hypothalamus and all that amazing, your organs, your intestines, your digestive system, your pancreas, your liver, kidneys, all of it. So SP6 is amazing when you're looking at balancing that endocrine system and helping your body to get that excess weight off. So we're going to use another patch called glutathione that I already mentioned. And then in our tummy reduction protocol, we also use energy enhancer. Remember, I said this burns an extra 300 to 600 calories per day. So what you would do is form a triangle on your belly. You would put the Eon on top, actually a diamond, Eon on top, glutathione on the right, SP6 on the left, and X39 below it. So that diamond around your belly button, you would do every day with these patches. We have a diagram of it, so don't worry, we can send you a picture of it. And then you would put the energy enhancer on the locations that are in the book, maybe the insides of your wrist or insides of your ankles or up here on your collarbone area. But you can use that protocol. We've had huge success with that over the last year. The people that have utilized that to reduce their tummy, they've lost dress sizes, they've lost weight, they've lost pant sizes, they've had massive changes in the skin on their body. And of course, flattening in areas. But that would be our weight loss. And again, you can just use X39 and Eon. Throw on some energy enhancer. You can mix and match and play with it. You can do whatever you want. But you can get our wholesale pack with all of those patches in it, super affordable. Someone wants to know, is there a quiz or something that you can take to help suggest which patches would work best? Oh, well, yeah, there actually is. It's called our health tracker. So you would look at the health tracker. The person that invited you can share that health tracker with you, and that will tell you basically 2 different boxes that help you to best determine where your issues are. You're going to rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 in these different categories. And so then you would share that with the person that invited you. And they, of course, if they need help, they can work with their people we work with and make sure that you get the patches that are best. But we have some kind of basic protocols already set up. Leah's fantastic at creating those graphics for us. And so it's real simple to say, oh, I have digestive issues. Okay, great. These are the patches we recommend. Oh, I need help with detoxing. Okay, great. This is what we recommend. Oh, I need immune system stuff. Fantastic. This is what we recommend. So that's real simple and easy. So don't worry about that. Just have that conversation after you fill out the health tracker. Which patches would help enhance and balance hormones? So when we look at our endocrine system, that's what we look at. So we look at our X39, our Eon, our SP6. We know that Aloe Vita does so much, but it does really well with that as well too. But these would be our kind of our hormone balancing patches right here. You want to kind of get things with your endocrine system back in line. Husband has Parkinson's, so we can't speak directly to Parkinson's because that's a disease, but we can talk about balancing the body and the brain, of course. Probably a little detoxing, right, with carnosine and glutathione, but we know that carnosine is huge for the brain. It's massive. We can also look at the X49 for the brain. It's wonderful in what it does for the brain. We have huge success with these patches for the brain, so I would do that. Eye issues. So there's several different options you can pick. Obviously X39 Eon for sure. Add in some carnosine, that would be fantastic. I know people that put the little eye mask, they actually use energy enhancer and stick it on the inside of the eye masks and put that over their eyes when they sleep. I don't know how you sleep with energy enhancer on, but I know people do it. There's you can play around with it. Put carnosine on the side right here, like on your temple, on your right temple at night before bed. But I would definitely get X39 Eon and carnosine for sure. Make the distinction of stem cell research and evasive injection. Make the distinction. So stem cell injections are actually putting some stem cells, whether it's yours that have been, your blood's been drawn, it's been spun and put back into you, or maybe it's a donor, like a cord blood or a PRP type of injection, that something exogenous stem cells are going into your body. And so that is I guess it's invasive. It's an injection. You're putting a needle into the body, right? So that is what stem cell injections are. They are actual stem cells from either yourself or from a donor, an outside source. When you go into other countries, they use aborted fetuses, they use umbilical cords, who knows what all they use. Sometimes you have to be really careful about that, which is why it's not in the United States in that form. It's very regulated. But what we have is a wearable light technology that does not put anything in your body. It actually signals your body to activate and mobilize, elevate its own stem cell production, and actually resetting a third of your genes. And we know this from clinical studies. We have studied this on people. And again, you can find those studies at startx39now.com so you can see. Water. So, what kind of water? Clean water, healthy water. So water can be very acidic. Yes, absolutely. But I will be honest with you. People drink tap water from bad sources. They drink crappy plastic bottled water and they still get results. Would it be optimal for you to use Aquapana in the glass bottle? Fantastic. Yes, that would be great. Is it needed? No, it's not. So I understand, we want to have the best environment, but it's like saying you have to eat organic, non-GMO, grass-fed or finished or plant-based or a certain way in order to get results. And that's just not the case. David has studied people, thousands of people for the last 20 years. There's no specific diet, there's no specific water, there's no specific nutrients or ingredients that make this technology work better. Obviously, we know having a clean, healthy body is the best case scenario, but we have so many people that are not in that situation. And I don't want you to think, well, I've got to eat healthy, or I have to be a certain weight, or I have to drink a certain water in order to get results. That's not the case. Over the last 3 years with this patch alone, we have over 3,000 recorded testimonials from people, and you can watch them. All of them. We have them all on a Telegram channel, and I will tell you, they are not all doing those things. The majority of them are not. But you know what happens from using this technology? People actually start making healthier choices. They actually stop eating the burger and fries and choose the salad or the lean source of protein, or they start going for walks or swims, or they get off the couch, they quit Netflix binging and interact with their kids, and they're able to get down on the floor and play with their kids or their grandkids because they're not in so much pain. They're sleeping. They have better mental clarity, and they're able to interact with people and improve their quality of life in so many ways. And we see those nutritional changes and those lifestyle changes as a byproduct of feeling better in your body, having less pain, having more sleep, better quality sleep, and having more mental clarity and focus and concentration is huge. Massive compound effect from using this technology and what happens with people, that ripple effect. If a client's on a fixed income, should they just start with X39 and Eon? Absolutely. Yes. What happens if you wear them longer? You turn into a pumpkin. That's it. You're done. Out. Yeah. So no, if you wear them longer than 12 hours, so say, for example, we've all done it. We go to bed and we're like, oh man, I forgot the patch on the back of my neck. And so you forgot to take it off. Well, you just have to wait 24 hours before you patch again with that patch. Okay. So it's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt you, but you don't want to leave it on for more than 12 hours, 13 hours, right? You just take it off close to time as possible, because you want to give your body that break. You want it to have a break so it can get into that repair and regeneration mode. And that's really important. Your body just needs that signal for 12 hours. What if you wear them for longer and if you put them back on sooner? Again, you just want to give it the 12 hours. Try to be as close as possible. Set an alarm on your phone if you need to. But yeah, thank you, Cindy. I love it. You'll turn into a pumpkin. I always say it every Tuesday at some point in time. I love it. I love it. I love it. What happens if you skip a day? It's totally fine. You're good. It's okay. You just put it on the next day that you remember, right? But just try not to skip too many days, because remember, there is this compound effect, and it really does matter when you see, the studies with regeneration. So get it on that next day. Yep, X39 Eon IceWave, absolutely. Where do you put it on the horse? Well, it depends on the horse. So with the X39 and Eon, you can stick it anywhere. It doesn't matter. If there's an area that's inflamed or in pain, you can put it next to that area. And same thing with the IceWave, or the AccuLife, wherever the pain is in the horse, you can put it there. Raised hands, or should I type the question here? If you can type it, great. I only see one raised hand. Oh, that's you, Carlton. Perfect. So yeah, I can answer your question here in just a second. Sometimes it pops up to the top and sometimes it doesn't. Will X49 work in the tummy protocol if I'm using X39 on my neck? Absolutely. Absolutely. Clinical studies show with X39 and 49 together, an 11% body fat reduction in just 60 days. Now, it doesn't say weight loss, but it says body fat reduction. We have huge clinical studies on these two: building lean muscle mass, stopping bone loss, increasing bone density, and body fat reduction. If we don't treat diseases, is it appropriate to talk about a protocol? So I use the word protocol because that's what I do in my practice. I have protocols. I always recommend different things together. You can say protocol if you want. You don't have to. You can say, just a package of patches. You can call it whatever you want. But I personally do, just because I've always used protocols for different things with people that I've worked with. So you can phrase that however you want. As far as youth, the first two people that I patched were my children. That is a personal choice because we obviously have not done clinical studies on kids. You just can't. And so we don't have any studies saying it is safe and effective. But again, we have recorded 3,000 recorded testimonials of people sharing their personal testimonials. And we do have quite a few, hundreds and hundreds of people that have used these on their kids. Remember, nothing's going into the body. So there's nothing harmful. There's nothing to interact with. There's nothing to do anything bad or negative to your child. But I'm not your doctor, so I'm not going to speak for you patching your child. But I remember Laura, the second person she called, I think, was Amanda with she was the fourth person you called with her son.
He was 4.
He was 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 4 years old, non-verbal, non-communicative at all, would not even look at you, would not interact, would not socialize, could barely hear, had birth defect from hearing, had, injuries from, I think vaccines, and yeah, lots of issues. What was it, about 7-10 days before he started saying a couple words? He was nonverbal.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. She called me every day crying because he did something new that he hadn't done for years. Communicated with her father for the first time, wouldn't even go near him. Yeah.
To where he's normal kid playing with his brother.
Yep.
So what about high blood sugar? So when you look at your blood sugar, we look at X39, Eon, and carnosine. Carnosine works fantastic in the glycation process for the pancreas. So we really look at these for keeping that blood sugar in check. What would you think if someone told you X39 brought back anger issues? This is the first month, a young man, an alcoholic. Here's something interesting about this technology. So yes, it works physically on your body. It actually works mentally and emotionally as well. And because when you're resetting genes back to their young, youthful state, lots of things are happening in the body. Now, is it common for people to get angry? No. Most people feel happy, a general sense of well-being and joy. But when you have someone that does have addiction issues, when they have anger issues, when they have trauma, emotional issues, sometimes that does present itself where people have to go through that process. Not always. But sometimes that has happened with people where they are, upset, if they're more depressed or if they have bipolar issues, things like that. We do see some emotional things happen, but we also see huge shifts and benefits, right? It takes about 21 days, right, to form a new habit. And we start to see that as well, too, in our neural networks and our neural pathways. We start to see things to really change in the brain around that 3 to 6 week mark. If you go to that clinical study page, the startx39now.com, you'll see some of the first studies at the top are done of the brain. And it shows the brain in colors, right? Using like neural feedback, you can map the brain. And it shows brain mapping and images of so many days and weeks after using, where you've got a brain that's red and angry and frustrated, or just emotional and trauma, and then you can see things change to that nice blue and yellow and green color over the course of the weeks that pass and months that pass. So everybody's different again. So I would say keep patching, make sure he's using the Eon, and it probably would benefit from the Nirvana. Nirvana is huge. It, like I said, elevates your beta endorphins. It works with the neural hormones and neurotransmitters in your brain. So this would be fantastic. And then you look at alcoholic, SP6 is amazing as well too, when we look at addictions, because it deals with that endocrine system, the hypothalamus, the pituitary, the pineal gland. So it's really important. Address how soon a person sees or feels results. That's great. Okay. I don't know. We're all different. I don't know. Sometimes people put a patch on and they're like, oh my gosh, I can feel something. And then other times it takes months and months before somebody feels something. God bless Catherine, Mark, and Rosemary. They didn't feel or notice one thing until around 3, 4, 5 months, right? Rosemary was 5 months before she got off her walker. She'd been on a walker for 2 years. It took her 5 months before she quit using the walker and could start to notice differences. So we're all very different. I will share with you that it is not common to feel something immediately, right? The majority of the people don't feel something right away. Okay, but there are a good portion of people that do. But the studies, again, clinical studies show about 80% of the people are going to notice things in about 3 to 6 weeks. The other 20%, it's going to be about 3 to 6 months. No matter what, from day one, it is activating your stem cells. It's elevating, mobilizing, it's resetting those genes. You can't feel your hair growing. You can't feel your toenails growing. You can't feel your eyelashes growing. You can't feel your heart repairing or your liver repairing, but all that stuff is happening every single day. The thing is, when your body's stem cells go to work, you don't get to pick where they work first, which is why we use these supportive patches to help you. Because you may be like, okay, stem cells, I've got degenerated discs. I need my back fixed immediately. And your back's going, I'm sorry, honey, your heart shot. Like, we're going to go there first and fix that area first. And you don't even realize it. And we're going to just take care of that, because your body has its own innate ability to know how to heal itself. So you don't get to pick. This is not an injection where you say, my knee's shot, it's bone on bone, put stem cells in it. Doesn't work that way. This is working with your body's own stem cells. And so those stem cells, your body was created to know how to repair itself. So they go to work to repair and regenerate whatever is needed first in that order. So some people do experience pain reduction pretty quickly. Some people do have a better night's sleep pretty quickly. And then others don't. It takes weeks or months before they do. So if you can't sleep, use the silent nights with your X39 and Eon. If you're in pain, use the IceWave with it, right? If you have, issues with your mental faculties, use the carnosine to speed that up, right? So we're all different, but know that you will have results with this. I promise you that. It's just, I don't know what it's going to repair and regenerate first. General rule of thumb is 1 month for every 10 years you are old. 44 months, 55 months, 66 months, or literally stop patching whenever you want to start aging again. That is how this technology works. This is age reversal, reversing the functionality of your cells, your tissues, and your organs. And so the longer you use this, that compound effect is literally resetting everything back to 25 years old. I'm hanging out at 25 right now. Here I am 18 months later. Laura's hanging out 20 years younger than she is, about 40 years old, probably even, less than that now. You're in your 30s, right? And so we know this because of the science and the technology and the research, right? And I love that you're not hungry anymore. That's fantastic. Charcoal filtered water. Sure. That works for you. Absolutely. Yes, you can definitely have the recording. I will be uploading it to YouTube. I have a Zoom after this, but I'll upload it after that. Can you wear the X39 in the day and the carnosine and sleep at night? Absolutely. Can we use it on our cat? Oh my God, yeah. We have lots of testimonials on cats, dogs, horses, pigs, chickens. Laura, do you remember the chicken? The lady that talked about the dead chicken. The chicken fell over dead and they patched it and came back to life. I've had 2 chicken stories in the last year and a half. Cows. Leah, do you remember the cow? Where to patch a cow? The cow had a big growth. Yeah. Oh boy. Let's see. High blood pressure, heart. So we're looking at the heart. So we would use X39, X49, Eon, and carnosine. This is your heart pack right here. This is your brain pack. Imagine that. They're both connected, directly connected. So those would be your packs. What did the nonverbal kid use? My nonverbal, oh no, Amanda's nonverbal kid. She started with X39, right? Did she use Eon shortly after? What else?
She did X39, Eon, glutathione at first. And then sometime after we added the carnosine.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Laura. So what did the post-COVID vaccine injury, a lot of neurological, digestive. So when we look at the symptoms of that neurological digestive issues, we would look at X39, Eon, definitely glutathione, carnosine would be fantastic. We would definitely use those for sure. Start getting well. A person who has Parkinson's, should they stop the Parkinson's? I would never stop any medications. We don't ever recommend anyone stop any medications. Consult with your physician if you're on medications and what, whether it's blood pressure or blood sugar. Obviously, you're monitoring your blood sugar. You can monitor your blood pressure, but talk with your physician before you stop any medication. Don't ever do that. Silent night is only worn at night. If you use it during the daytime, you will be sleeping. What are some of the differences in 3949? So Grace, the person that invited you, and I'm guessing your Grace is an April's daughter, go to your app, LifeWave In Touch, because we don't have time to go over those differences tonight, but go to your app, and on that very first screen, it will show you a PDF that has pages and pages and pages of differences of the two. Oh, the couple in Ireland and sheep. I was like, did you mean sheep? Sleep? No, sheep. Pet testimonials. Diana, if you go to the Telegram channel, Telegram, and just type in pet, type in horse, cat, dog, and they'll all pop up. The thermal, no, I can't share them tonight. I'm sorry. I have another Zoom at 9:30, and I will be sharing it though. But I just don't have time to screen share tonight, but thank you for asking. So somebody wears 5 to 7 patches a day. X39 Eon goes on the back. Does it matter where the others go? The only one that really matters is SP6 and Energy Enhancer. SP6 is on the left side of the body, and it goes into specific points on the leg to affect that endocrine system. Energy Enhancer, every patch comes with its own instruction booklet. And so you would use what they say in the booklet for locations. So you can pick your spot and stay with your spot, or stay with it for 7 days and change it out to the next week. Yeah, but you definitely want to, because this is the spleen meridian. Great question, Rhonda. Spleen meridian is SP, stands for spleen, SP6. And so every single patch has been tested on people with acupuncture points that are obviously impact those meridians. And so we have very specific locations to use them. Like I said earlier, you can stick patch like the X39 Eon anywhere you want. But if you're talking about wanting to impact your endocrine system, here, if you're wanting to work with the energy in the body, you would pick these locations, because that's what's been proven in our clinical studies. We have to have very specific controlled situations, right, with people. But there are many choices to pick from in the instruction booklet, and they all come with one. So don't worry about it. And then Carlton. Yes, I know. I was just going to say Carlton before we got to go. Carlton, can you unmute yourself, Carlton, and ask your question?
Yes. I was just starting to type, but it would have took me forever. Okay. So, one question is, in the beginning, you started off the conversation by saying, with the X39 one patch. And so I guess my question for you is, and I have 2 other questions. I'll make it real quick. Are you saying that you can just use one patch, or do you have to use 2? In other words, because somebody just say, hey, I'm gonna just put the X39 on the back of my neck, or the X39 below my belly button, and that's it, just one patch.
Mm-hmm. Correct. You can just use this patch and this patch only. This is going to activate your body's own stem cell production. They're going to go to work to repair everything in your body in whatever order your body needs. Why we use the supportive patches is to address what else is going on in the body, your specific symptoms, issues that you're experiencing, and be able to help you to achieve a faster result. Remember, this company's 20 years old, so David's used these other patches for 20 years. This one's been out 3 years. It's the workhorse, right? It's the flagship patch that does everything. It's just, we're a microwave society. And so a lot of people want it now. I want to take this pill and not have this issue. And so we want to get to the root of the problem. So, but you can just use this and only use this. Absolutely. You don't have to use anything else.
Now, is there ever a time and recommendation for a person to use one X39 on the back of their neck and an X39 below their belly button?
No, you only use one per day.
Ah, gotcha. Okay, now the other question, I guess this goes a little bit more in detail in regards to your response to it. You know, I've looked at a lot of different videos on this, I'm kind of wondering if it's almost like an addictive attachment to it, whereas you once you start, you can't let it go. Like I watched this one video of somebody saying that they was on these patches for so long and then they stopped, but then after the effects kind of wore off. And so, I guess that's my question to you. It's kind of like, okay, well, this is something that you'll be doing for the rest of your life if you want to keep having your stem cells activated, because they don't stay activated. You understand my question?
Yeah, I do. And so there's nothing in any of our patches that make you addicted to them. Remember, there's nothing going in the body. And so signaling your own peptides to work correctly is not addictive at all. And so we don't find that people are craving them or wanting them or needing them in order to feel a certain way. Yes, the longer you use them, depending on what's going on, obviously, in your body and your age, you can see that compound effect to where this is regenerative medicine. So if I have liver issues, for example, and then we got to go because I've got people waiting in my waiting room. But if we have liver issues, for example, and you use this technology for, let's say, 6 months, your liver has regenerated to whatever point it's regenerated in that 6-month period of time. You could probably tell that from blood work, right? And so that regeneration in your liver will stay there. You don't just stop patching and then poof, I'm back to where I was 6 months ago. Actually, that regeneration or that reversal, that improvement of the functionality of that liver is there now today. Okay. And so your body will just start that normal aging process as it would anyway from that day forward. So let's say today, my insides, my system and cells and organs say I'm 25 years old. If I stop patching today, then I will start aging as a 25-year-old, even though I'm 48, I'll start aging as a 25-year-old today, just like I would day by day, any day, because I have regenerated, repaired, restored, rejuvenated the cells and tissues and organs in my body.
That makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll let it go from there. I know you got to run to another call, but appreciate you taking my call and answering the questions.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for being on here this evening. If you have any other questions, please get back with the person that invited you. They're more than happy to help. And of course, they're connected to somebody else that they work with that can help if they don't have the exact answer. But we are grateful you guys are here, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon on a Zoom. Thank you all.